Wrestling with our inner fight, in the spotlight every night. Voices shout and bodies clash. In this world, emotions crash.
All right, folks, we are well, we're not live. We're as close to live as we possibly can be. And if I sound like I'm trying to be quiet, it's because I am. My wife is sleeping in the other room. I don't want to wake her up. That's another nightmare that I just don't need. I already get enough static because she says I snore. But that's a whole other topic. Guys, I had to log in here. I know I posted earlier today. And at the time I was saying, I'm not sure if I'll do a follow-up show, not knowing, obviously, what was going to transpire tonight. But it is so earth-shattering. Well, I hate this. That's so friggin' lame. It's so wild. Because for the longest time ever, it was thought not to be possible or on the radar, but here we are. I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to go right into the main story that if you just watched the Elimination Chamber, you just saw John Cena turn heel for the first time, or one of the first time forever. I will say this. I was out of WWE during the Ruthless Aggression era. I was in the Air Force. I was gone. I didn't come back to wrestling until The Rock came back and faced off against John Cena at WrestleMania in Miami. I watched the Atlanta show and then I followed from there. So I am not the biggest John Cena historian, but I will say that I obviously know enough. I respect his career. He was never my guy when I was watching. That's why I was so pumped for CM Punk at the particular time, because he was more my brand of flavor, my flavor of ice cream. And John Cena was not. But here we go. Tonight, you have the men's Elimination Chamber. We'll just kind of run through that really quickly. They entered in the following order: Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Logan Paul, John Cena, CM Punk. That is not the order that they eliminated. This fucking site is wrong. They didn't come in that order. But the first person to get eliminated in hilarious fashion, as usual. This guy, I love this guy, Drew McIntyre. He is writing this character's unfortunate. It reminds me of Seth Rollins a couple of years ago when they were trying to before Cody rejoined WWE, and they were going through the whole he can't make it to WrestleMania. He's not making it to WrestleMania. Who's he going to face? And then Cody comes back. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of that. They're not going with the angle that Drew's not going to be at WrestleMania. But obviously now he is not going to be in the main event. He'll probably do some type of program with Damian Priest as planned. But, ultimately at the end of the day, it came down to 3 guys left in the ring. I don't care about Logan Paul. I don't care. And I'm sorry, Damian Priest is a good worker, but it's inconsequential to this. It comes down to Rollins, Punk, and John Cena, of course. They hit Rollins with attitude adjustment, go to sleep. Punk gets the pin on him, I believe. He's eliminated. But of course he doesn't leave the chamber. And after a move through the ropes by Cena, and Punk's head is exposed, he gets hit with arguably, I've said this a long time ago, the worst finisher in all of professional wrestling for such a top guy. The stomp. It's so stupid. It's the worst finishing move out there. But he stomps Punk, incapacitates him basically. And then Cena with a submission. Basically, Punk passes out. They call the match. Cena wins. He's moving on to WrestleMania. Cody joins the fray. He comes into the ring after the chambers have been lifted. Cena greets him, opens the ropes, allows him to come in. all smiles, all hugs, all congratulations, and then the Rock music hits. And here's my first problem. I'm not naive. I'm not an idiot. I know who Travis Scott is. I could not name one Travis Scott song. It doesn't matter. Why the fuck is this guy coming down the rope? Why is this guy in the ring? Why is this guy following the Rock to the ring? You've got three of the arguably the three hottest dudes in wrestling right now. And I'm not talking about sexiness, even though pretty good looking dudes. I'm talking about John Cena, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes, and then you got Travis Scott in the fucking corner with a championship belt that he made at his for a fucking crafting hour with the hardcore title on it. Why is that guy in the ring? It makes no sense. It takes away from the gravitas of the moment, and it's just weird. I understand the celebrity influence. If he wanted to come out like he did, where the song was cool, then the Rock comes up the tunnel. They do the fist bump or whatever it was, or Rock tapping his arm again for just fucking goosebumps. If you have goosebumps, dude, I get it. We know it now. You get the chills when you come out there. Wear warmer clothing, okay? I'm so tired of hearing about the goosebumps. But he should have left Travis Scott right there, and then he goes to the ring by himself. So we get in the ring. Everybody's in there now after 20 minutes of intros. Cena's in the corner, shaking his head basically to Cody, like, don't do it. Rock goes through his spiel, saying basically exactly kind of what he said the night before, but this time he finally lays out consequences, basically. Because as I mentioned this morning, we don't know what saying no entails. Obviously, it's implied. It's based on the implication, right? Based on the implication. But we don't know what it means. So basically, it's over. The ride is over if Cody does not accept or provide his soul to The Rock and buy in basically to corporate Rock. So, of course, the first stunning piece is Cody responds basically, I don't have a soul to give. I've already given it to the business, basically, all these fans. And then he says, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. Stunning. That was the first stunning thing. Okay? And then you still see Cena in the background. He's laughing. He says, the kid's got balls. And then The Rock, and then Cena embraces Cody. They're basically hugging it out. They're facing each other at Mania. And then it's Rock and Cena eye to eye. He gives Rock gives the throat slash symbol. Cena's face completely freezes. Hardcore dude. And just Dick Kick City to Credit Wrestling with Regret. Dick Kick City to Cody Rhodes. They destroy this dude in the ring. And again, fucking Travis Scott gets involved to hold down Cody Rhodes as the final boss whips him with the weight belt that he showed last night, Cody Rhodes' soul. We're left with a three shot of Travis Scott, The Rock, and Cena. Looking back as Michael Cole, and I believe that was Michael Cole and others are helping Cody in the ring. So we're rolling. Now we are cooking with gas. This morning, didn't know where this was going. I did mention, is there the possibility of John Cena turning heel? But of course, the doubt creeps in like, yes, it would be awesome. Yes, it would be cool. One final ride as a heel. Yeah. But it didn't seem imaginable, number one, because of how long he's been a face. And he was always, his reason was always about, all the kids that support him. But now you have Cody Rhodes, who has basically supplemented that piece of the pie for John Cena, freeing him basically from being the face of the company, the baby face of the company. It's now Cody Rhodes. So for all those who were hoping for a Cody Rhodes heel turn, that obviously didn't happen. But now Cena is full heel. I cannot wait to see what they do with this. Hopefully he is on, I imagine he will be. Hopefully he is on programming, truly building this. I was really expecting at the very end when Cody was getting his ass whipped with the belt that Roman might pop back out. But we had already seen so many returns that night, and I'll talk about those in a second. that a third might have been too wild. Plus the Cena heel turn. While I'm recording this, they're doing the after show or the post show on YouTube, and I think they show it on Peacock too. So they may be talking through this. So there's going to be some things that I'm probably going to miss because I typically don't watch those because usually they're contrived. It's not a real it's obviously not a real media scrum. It's totally controlled, and it's obviously been manipulated to drive storylines, which is fine. But anyways, now we're on the road to WrestleMania. We know it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the world title. We've just seen Seth Rollins fulfill the promise to senior CM Punk that he will do everything within his control to make sure that he does not headline WrestleMania. So obviously it looks like we're on a collision course. Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Part of me thinks now, if Roman does return, which he probably should, it'll be a three-way dance between him, Seth, and Punk. But I don't know where the favor comes in. Does Cena cash that in? What does it even mean at this point? Does that come post WrestleMania? Who knows? But now the men's side is all set. And I wanted to put this out because I knew I was going to be thinking about it, and I know I couldn't sleep. This is how sad this is as a grown man. It's awesome to see this. This is someone, that was on the horizon for so many years, or people wanted. He would jokingly do like a little heel turn with his foot in the ring, but he always made sure to, pull it back, and he was always the smiling, fun guy. So it's going to be really cool to see what he does with the character now on his last run, partnered up with The Rock, and we'll see what happens there. So, moving through the rest of the night really quickly, we'll start. I'm going to go back and I'm going to start off. Well, I'm going to go next to the match, the counterpart on the women's side, because I tweeted this out as well. I called it this morning. If you listen to the preview show, I said what I foresee happening in tonight's match with the women is that Naomi or Bianca Belair will not make it to the match. I assumed it was going to happen backstage, but sure enough, and I knew, Naomi's obviously going to be the one that they pull out of this match. So we get the return of Jade Cargill. She returns, destroys Naomi before the bell even rings. She is eliminated because she can no longer continue or compete. The part that I was wrong about was I thought that they would supplement her or bring somebody in. I thought it was going to be the return of Becky Lynch. But instead, we go with the remaining competitors. It comes down to Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair, and then Bianca takes the win, and she'll go on to face the winner of Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky on Monday night. All indications is it will be Rhea Ripley. And when I was thinking about it when I was watching it too, I totally forgot when I made that prediction show this morning. It doesn't really benefit Liv to move on to WrestleMania because she just won the tag titles on Friday night. So in a way, if I had remembered that, and I think other people probably thought that or put that into consideration when they were probably talking about it, it basically eliminated her from this match, unless they were going to drop the belts before WrestleMania. But again, that would be a sloppy storytelling with the tag team division that just seems to turn those belts all over all the time. So we now have that match set. We'll know finally on Monday night who will be facing Bianca Belair now at WrestleMania. And then let's see here. You had, as I talked about, and surprisingly, no Charlotte Flair appearance for the match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I tweeted this out during the match as well. Man, I think I may be sleeping on Nia Jax. I think reputation before she came back to WWE kind of soured him because I know she had injured a number of people. So I just thought she was dangerous, and and this is all just from, I don't even know her obviously, but I think I was watching her during this match. Number one, I felt kind of bad for her because I don't know if it was just her working as a heel, but she was yelling at somebody in the front row, 4 front rows behind hard cam, or the not the hard cam side, but the back side, that was saying something to her, and then I saw the referee check on her, and she said she was all right. So I kind of felt bad, not knowing what was said, but sometimes it's the obvious stuff, obviously, from an appearance standpoint with the women, which is just ridiculous at this particular point in the world, and sad if it is. And I'm just assuming, but typically, I mean, that's usually what it involves when it comes to the women, which is harsh. But she was hilarious during part of this match. She was making fun of Trish Stratus and her gestures to the crowd. She was talking trash and was caught and picked up on mic. She was making faces, doing voices. It was funny. So I'll be paying a lot more attention to her. But like we said, it was a clean win. Tiffany and Trish pick up the win. It's just a good hometown feeling for Trish. Crowd was kind of dead on this particular match. Yes, I mean, because it followed the women's cage match. You just had the return of Jade to start things out. I really think they should have brought somebody else into the match to take over Naomi's spot. I think that would have added a little bit more to that match, because it felt like it kind of rushed a little bit. There were still a number of good spots, I thought. Liv shined in this match. I think and I know she won the PWI Most Improved Wrestler from the women's side this year recently in their latest issue. But you can definitely tell she's always been a great character in the ring, in terms of like her selling, her faces, the crying. Sometimes that part can sometimes used to get annoying to me a little bit. She's kind of calmed down on that piece, but she still sells extremely well. She's really cleaned up a lot of her moves. She's very fluid, and everything just really looked strong and crisp, and I think she did a really great job. I think all the women in this match showed up and showed out. I think I'm speaking back to the Elimination Chamber. Did I just go from? I think I just went from talking about Liv for Trish Stratus, and I think went from the tag team back to the Chamber. But I was saying that because I think to have that match follow the Women's Chamber, I think was a mistake. I understand trying to start out hot, and getting this match popping, and I think they did start out hot. Obviously, with the return of Jade, I think that was exciting. But again, I think you popped the crowd too hard in the first match. I think they lost a little bit of steam, and then the tag match there, it just felt a little flat. There were some good spots, and it was decent work, but it was just a run-of-the-mill tag match, and I was worried there for a moment when Candace hit the ropes and Tiffany's on top. There was it looked like it could have really hurt her knee, but she finished the match, and it didn't look any worse for wear. So she looked good, and that match ended up well. But again, no interference, no appearance from Charlotte Flair, no really even true mention of it. So I don't know really what that match did, besides hopefully, like I said earlier today, close the chapter with Tiffany, Nia, and Candice. Will Trish stick around for a little while? Who knows? Because obviously now Tiffany's heading on to WrestleMania for her main opponent, which will be Charlotte. So what Trish has to do now, who knows? But either way, kind of a filler match. The next match we get was also really solid, and we saw another return at the end of this one too. So Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Brutal, as we expected or talked about this morning. Good spots. The double table spot that Sami took off the top rope going out to the floor was insane. What sucked was the angle that they shot it on. So you didn't really truly get the full vision of it. So that was a little disappointing to not see it full on. The replay was better. But yeah, it was a tough looking match. It ends with obviously Kevin Owens getting the win. I wasn't sure this morning that was the right call. It didn't make any sense. And I tweeted I keep telling you I'm tweeting this shit, but who cares, right? I messaged out like, what does this do for Kevin Owens? And then sure enough, he comes back, he pulls the padding off the floor in front of the ring to expose the concrete, goes back, grabs Sammy out from the EMTs that were tending to him in the ring, and he gets ready to basically, I believe is probably going to be one of those package pile drivers onto the concrete, and then whose music hits but Randy Orton. So awesome return. We obviously now have a vision for what he's going to do. Where this leaves Sami Zayn, I don't know. That's why I was saying this morning, like, I mean, this match and a win would do more for him, but, you know, maybe this leads him on another path. But now it looks like we're gearing up for a Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton match. So that's going to be interesting. I thought Randy obviously looked great. He hit Sammy with... sorry, not Sammy. He hit Kevin Owens with the RKO. He RKO'd every single security guard almost out there. Funny spot where he went to shake one of the guy's hands and dropped him. And then some chair shots to Kevin, and that was basically it. And then he was going to go for the punt. And then they pulled Kevin out of there and out to safety, and he went to the backstage area, and that was it, basically. So awesome return to good to see Randy, because I was, like I mentioned, wondering what was going to happen there with him. So that's kind of where we are now. So excited to see what happens now, because you have, especially on the men's side, so many questions still left to answer. What about John Cena's involvement? Where does that go? Maybe not questions, but kind of gaps to fill in from a storyline standpoint. I'm excited to see what happens, because now you have this newness, right? That we haven't had. For me, as watching wrestling over the last 10 plus years, have not seen John Cena in this type of role. I think he was a heel at some point when he was like the doctor of Thugonomics. I can't remember. Like I said, I was not watching then, so he may have been a heel character at one particular point. But I don't recall that. I only know like the really like white meat babyface John Cena. So this is an interesting take. I think a lot of people are stunned because they never thought this would actually happen. So that's why I had to get on the mic and kind of talk through this. So we'll see what happens. The only match that I'm aware of so far for Monday night is going to be the Io Sky Rhea Ripley match that we talked about. I don't know who else is appearing, obviously who we're going to hear from. But I know, like I mentioned, the press conference is going on now. They'll probably shoot some stuff for social media behind the scenes, so there'll be more story developed going into Monday. But overall, a really solid night. Besides the women's tag match, which again, they worked well. But it was just like a real feel good moment being in Toronto for Trish more than anything else, I felt. The other matches did really good to set up WrestleMania threads and storylines with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew, Damian Priest. So we'll see what's to come there. But yeah, we're in full swing, so very cool. Well, hey guys, thanks for tuning in really quickly. Appreciate you. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. We're at Wrestling with Emotions. And this should hit pretty close to 11:30 on the East Coast. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Leave a couple of comments on the YouTube side. If you watch the show, where do you think we're headed on the John Cena storyline and some of the other threads that they kind of sewed together tonight? But hey, enjoy the night, and we'll see you soon.
Throw down, heartbeats racing, can't slow down. Feel the tension, feel the heat, emotions hitting on repeat. Wrestling win with our inner fight. In the spotlight, begin. Finding strength that's deep inside, facing fears we cannot hide. Wrestling with our inner fight, in the spotlight every night. Voices shout and bodies clash. In this world emotions crash. Every grapple, every hold tells a story to be told. Raw and real and full of fire, pushing through the darkest mire. Wrestling with our inner fight, in the spotlight every